Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
27 male. Just found pics of her, 27 female, cheating. I apologize if this sounds disjointed. I'm in a bad mood right now. I was using my 5-year-old girlfriend's computer when I opened an unnamed folder on her desktop. Inside, I discovered photos of her clearly having sex with someone I'd never seen before. I can barely type, let alone speak, right now. She is currently at work and will not return home for another 6 hours. I'm at a loss for what to do. I can't think, I can't move, I'm so lost. I'm not sure how I'm going to recover from this. I can't afford to leave, but I'd rather be homeless than stay another second here. Any suggestions for how to proceed, or even just kind words, would be greatly appreciated. Slight update. Once I was able to breathe again, I examined the EXIF data from the photographs. They were taken by her phone last month and date back to last month. Free. Update: I'm not vomiting or crying anymore, so I'll take that as a sign of progress. I'm just feeling empty right now. For example, somewhere between my belly button and my ribs is a space that used to be occupied but is now empty. I suppose time heals all wounds. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time to respond to this thread. You have no idea how much it means to me to know that others care about this, even if they are halfway around the world. Your collective advice and words of encouragement have been extremely beneficial to me. Second, just to keep you up to date, my belongings are packed and in my car. I found someone to stay with for the time being, though I'm not sure how long. I drove everything that was sentimental to me or reminded me of her out of town and burned and smashed it all. It was therapeutic. I suppose leaving my mementos all over the place isn't very eco-friendly, but I'm hoping Mother Nature will give me a pass on this one. Third, in response to several requests in the thread, I changed her desktop background to one of the images. I think having to look at it again while doing so was more difficult than packing, but it is done. It was unnecessary because I had already asked her via text not to contact me again, but it's comforting to know she'll have to come home to that. To address some of the other concerns raised in the thread, the pictures' EXIF data indicated that they were taken by her phone last month. I've racked my brain, and surprisingly, I can't think of any red flags in the relationship. I'm trying to avoid specifics because she's a Redditor, but they were taken while she was on a long trip. Perhaps she thought she could have a fling with someone she met, and I wouldn't know the difference. I'm not sure why she left a folder with these pictures on her laptop. It appears to me to be extremely stupid, but they were not in plain sight. They were among a slew of other, seemingly innocuous images. I don't think she wanted me to find out. She seems upset and has been pleading with me to talk to her about it. Finally, I'd like to thank Reddit once more. The encouragement, stories, and kind words have meant more to me than you can imagine. Update note to thank you very much, everyone. I still want to throw myself in front of a bus, though not as much as before, but I found a place to stay until I can get back on my feet. If anyone has any suggestions for how to stop feeling like a weight is slowly crushing my chest, I would be grateful. I have some packing to do, but I will try to respond to this thread as soon as possible. Story 2. 26 female, don't approve of the way my boyfriend's 28 male friends treat their girlfriends, and it is causing fights between us. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a year, and things have gotten very serious in the last few months. We are constantly discussing marriage. He has stated that he hopes to be engaged to me by the end of the year, and I adore him. One of my main concerns is that his best friends treat their girlfriends horribly. They cheat, have emotional affairs, go to strip clubs behind their girlfriends' backs, and so on. We were out the other night, and I had to persuade one of his best friends that cheating on his girlfriend, whom I adore, with a girl at the bar it wasn't worth it. His friend group, some married, most in long-term relationships, had an Instagram group message with the sole purpose of sending hot girls, both celebrities and girls they all know, to each other. It bothered me a lot when my boyfriend told me about it. He stated that I was the only girlfriend who was aware of the situation, and that he was leaving the group because I expressed discomfort. He always tells me stories about his friends, but he gets upset if I say anything negative about them. He tells me they're good friends of his and that what they do in their spare time is their business and shouldn't affect my opinion of them. They are all old fraternity brothers who have remained close since that time. I never change my attitude toward them, but I have to admit that it bothers me that he's okay with being best friends with people who act like that. He tells me I'm naive, that all men are like that, and that he's one of the few exceptions. It frightens me that he thinks this behavior is acceptable. And it frightens me that he has been a member of that group message for years, while he had other girlfriends. I believe he would never cheat on me, and I believe he would never do anything to these guys' girlfriends, but it bothers me that he is okay with their behavior. When I mentioned my feelings about it tonight, he told me that he'll never tell me anything about his friends again, because he doesn't want me to secretly judge them. Is it okay for me to feel this way? Am I being naive? How should I handle this situation in the future? All suggestions are welcome. Story 3. I, 29 female, have been financially supporting my BF, 31 male, for 3 years and I'm sick of it. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years. He lost his job not long after we started dating. Instead of stepping up and doing something to help me pay our bills, he went on strike for a year and was unemployed for 3 years. During the first year, he was depressed, and I did everything I could to make sure we had a roof over our heads and that the majority of our needs were met. I was under a lot of stress and pressure to keep my job because I was afraid that if I lost it, everything would fall apart. I used to cry, beg, and plead with him to help me pay the bills, but nothing ever came of it. When I asked for his help, I had full-fledged breakdowns on multiple occasions, but nothing changed. I didn't mind if it was a temporary job as a server or at a grocery store, as long as I was getting some sort of help from him. I felt as if the entire relationship was resting on my shoulders. I was making $50,000 per year at the time he lost his job, but we live in a big city, so after taxes and insurance, the money didn't go very far. We were practically living paycheck to paycheck, with no money to put into my savings. For the first year, I worked my tail off to get promotions that would allow us to live a more comfortable lifestyle. I was making $69K per year when I was let go due to COVID. When I lost my job, I immediately applied for unemployment in school, hoping that the loans and UE checks would keep us afloat until I could find another job. I eventually found another job that paid roughly the same as my previous one, but I accumulated a lot of student loan debt while I was unemployed. He finally got part-time work last year. He works about 10 hours per week and earns about $1,000 per month. Instead of contributing to our household expenses, he spends all of his earnings on food and video games. I can't even approach him for assistance without him lashing out and turning the conversation around on me. He always tells me that I should ask for more money at work. I feel completely manipulated and exploited. He is fantastic in every other way, but he lacks the motivation to provide for us. At this point, I'm resentful of him for putting me through so much mental and emotional stress for the majority of our relationship. He said on multiple occasions that if I ever broke up with him, he'd kill himself. I'm at a loss for words. I adore him, but I'm irritated when he asks me to do anything because I've been the sole provider for the past 3 years. I'm at a loss for what to do. Any advice would be greatly appreciated.